everyone. The topic for today's video is comprehension in Python. And here is the agenda. I will start with the definition, then move on to the list comprehension. Then we will see how we can do list comprehension with the conditions like if and else. For moving further, can we combine the conditionals with booleans like and or? Then nested list comprehension. I will be briefly touching upon set comprehension, tuple comprehension and generator expression. There will be a separate video I will be creating for dictionary comprehension. Starting with the definition. Here I am into the Python official documentation page and they have given the definition for list comprehension. The same definition can be applied to other types of comprehension like set and tuple as well. So list comprehension provide a concise way to create lists. Common applications are to make new lists where each element is the result of some operations applied to each member of another sequence or iterable, or to create a subsequence of those elements which satisfy a certain condition. Let's just start to break it down into smaller pieces. It is a concise, compact and faster way to create a new collection from an existing iterable like list, range, etc. by using an expression. Optionally, there could be filters like if and else, which we call conditionals, and sometimes they have nested loops as well, although I do not prefer it. And the most important thing according to me is a single readable line. That is the most important factor for a list comprehension, the readability. And here is the syntax, if you can see it, for where in iterable, that is the expression that we talked about in the definition part. Iterable is the range, it could be range, list, anything like that. And then optional conditionals. Starting with the list comprehension, I am going to begin with a very simple example. For example, let's say you are asked to do the s square of numbers 1, 2 and 3. The one way is to do it using a for loop. So what I can do here is that I can write a squares, that is a list which is going to be of type integer. This is an empty list or a list with no element, and I can write here for I in range 1 till 4. Now I can go and add into this squares, append I multiplied by 2, and then finally I can print it should have been squares. And now if I run this program, I'm going to get here 1, 4 and 9, which is exactly what we wanted. Squares, I am again defining a new list which is going to be of type integer, and this way I'm going to show you how we can do it via list comprehension. First of all, for range in, this is the part I am going to copy here and put it over here. Then what is our expression? This is our expression here. What I am going to do is that this. So let me copy this here and put it over here. And then finally I am going to put everything inside these braces. And my dear friends, that is all. Now if I go and print squares, I am going to get this very same output. Here you see 1, 4 and 9. So this is how easy it is. So we have converted these 3 lines of codes into a single line of code, which is much more readable and faster as well. And it is not only like that we can do it only with the integers. We can do it also with the list of strings as well. Here I have got a list of strings which has got multiple names. Tom is starting with uppercase T, so is Jared, but Susan is in all caps, and so is Tina. Let me make it something like this. Put N in lowercase. Now, my idea is to convert all these names into uppercase. Again, I can do it using a for loop, but I would do it using a list comprehension. So let me define here a new list called uppercase, and it is going to be of type star is equal to braces. And what do I want to do here is that for again name in names, this is our for part, and then I am going to put here our expression. What do we want to do? Name dot upper. Yeah. Now when I print this, here I am getting all the names into the uppercase. So in both these examples, this names here, it is an iterable, or here what I have defined here, range 1 to 4. Again, these are the iterables through which we are iterating. We are using an expression, and here is the for loop going on. In fact, we can replace these names with this list itself here like this. Let me copy this, and if in fact let me copy this whole line and make it a comment, and then come down over here, and then rather than going from the existing list and this also a comment, I can write here this, and still I will be getting the same output. You can see it over here. Similarly, if I have to do something, if I want to create it in lowercase, let me copy, allow me to copy this line here. So I can write here lower case list, this is of type star is equal to this, and I'm just going to change it to lower method, and then I can print lower case, clear the terminal, and here you see I am getting everything into lower case. Moving on to using the list comprehension with the conditionals. For example, you have got numbers from 1 to 10 and you want to create a list of all the even numbers. So here is the traditional way of doing it. So if now here you see I am getting the list of all the even numbers. Now let us try to do the same thing using a list comprehension. Again I am going to define a new list of integers called even, and inside the braces I am going to put here x for x in range 1 to 11 if x divided by 2 is equal to 0. Now printing upon this even, I should be getting the same output as above. You can see it over here. Now let us see how we can combine if and else both. If we want to use both if and else, then there is going to be slight change in the syntax. So let me copy it over here from here. Let me copy from here and bring that over here. So I am defining a new list of a string, and what I am trying to do over here is that I am going to iterate through numbers from 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5 and 6. What I want to do here is that I want to print 1 is odd, 2 is even, 3 is odd, 4 is even, 5 is odd, 6 is even. Copied it over here. This if part will be coming before this for part here. As I said, there will be slight change in the syntax here. So we have done it so far. Now I want to print 1 is odd, 2 is even. So if I use the f string and x is even, if x is perfectly divisible by 2, else again I am going to use here inside the curly braces is odd for x in range 1 to not 11, let's keep it a smaller range, 1 till 7. So it will loop from 1 till 6. Now if I print x, what I am going to get here is, you see 1 is odd, 2 is even, 3 is odd, 4 is even, 5 is odd, 6 is even. So we can combine both if and else into the list comprehension. How do we combine booleans? Let me copy this line from here, allow me to come over here, and let me give it some other name. Let's give it x. What I want is that I want to go through this list and I want only those numbers which are perfectly divisible by both 2 and 3. So I can write here and x percent 3 is equal to 0. And now if I print x, clear the terminal, and now you see only 6 I am getting here. Let's increase the range. Let me bring it up to 16 so that we get a bit more numbers here. Now 6 and 12, these are the only two numbers which are divisible by both 2 and 3 and leave no remainder or zero remainder. Similarly, what we can apply OR here also. So if I make it OR, so it is going to output all those numbers which are either divisible by 3 or 2. So I am getting a 2, 3, 4, 6, 8, 9, 12, 14 and 15. All these numbers are perfectly divisible by 2 or 3. Nested list comprehension. I have copied this code from my other screen, and this is going to output me all the pairs of zeros and 1. You see 0 1 0 2 1 0 1 2 2 0 2 1. So this is all the pairs. We can do it also easily using a list comprehension. What was the name? So result. So let me call it pairs, and I can again the square braces here. I can write here I comma j for I in for what did I write? For I in range 1 till let's keep it simple 3, for j in range again 3 if I is not equal to j. And now if I print pairs, I should be getting again the same output here. You see 0 1 0 2 1 0 1 2 2 0 and 2 1. So again here you see we have got two comprehensions for I in range 3, and then again this is the nested one. But my 2 cents here is that try to keep it simple. The basic USP of list comprehension is its readability and single line. So if it loses readability, then I would prefer to go through the conventional way like this. Now I am going to very briefly touch upon set comprehension. It is very similar to what we have done. So here I am going to define a set of integers, and I can write here y multiplied raised to exponent 2 for y in range 3, and if I print here y, again I should be getting what we did in the very first example. I am getting here 0 1 and 4. For tuple comprehension, let's create a tuple. Again I am going to create tuple of type integer. You can try it with different types. Here I need to prefix it with a tuple. I for I in range 3. Let's make it like earlier what we were doing here. And now if I print this print t, I should be getting 0 1 2 and okay, I did a mistake. It should have been tuple. So clear the terminal and run 0 1 and 4. Here I am getting. The last item on our agenda is generator expression. Generators are a special type of function in Python which pause and resume their execution. So to create a generator, let's say if I simply put here x into 2 for x in range 5. Now if I just try to print what type of this it is, then you will see it is a type of generator. Here you see it is class generator. And how do we get the numbers? So I have to write here print next x. So it will be giving me the number 0, and if I copy this couple of more, 4 or 5 more times, 3, 4 and 5, so it will keep producing the numbers one by one. Here you see, and once 0, 1, 4, 9 and 16, once the generators, once you are done with the execution, and because we have already looped in for 5 times, if I now try to print it again, then I would be getting a stop iteration error. Here you see, after producing 16, I am getting a stop iteration error. So be careful with the generators. We will deal in the coming videos how to deal with these type of errors, how we can stop it. If you pay attention to the tuple that I created here, I wrote here tuple keyword before this parenthesis to create a tuple. Otherwise, if I remove this tuple, then it becomes a generator. So that is it for this video, my dear fellow learners. If you find this video useful, consider giving it a like, share it with your friends, subscribe to my channel, and I'm going to upload all these codes onto my Git page and share the link into the description. Till that time, happy coding.